We're going to switch over now and talk about some of the polls that we've posted over the last couple of weeks and go over some of the results. They're pretty surprising. Yeah, let's get right into it.
Yeah. First one. I mean,
Kubar, thanks.
Chris, I know what's coming, right? I'm pretty sure.
Sorry to hear.
I'm pretty sure Uber and Lyft are going to send me an email saying that, oh, your sample size is not big enough, right? That's the first thing they're just going to say. All right. Now, people, please, this is free. Please go vote. Make your voices heard. So far, 1,500 and plus some votes in 4 days. A question was simple. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1, extremely dissatisfied, 5, extremely satisfied, how satisfied are you with working as an independent contractor for Lyft? Well, Mr. Risher, here's your deal. Now, you can run your DAC all you want, Driver Advisory Council. You can collect all the Kool-Aid drinkers over there. Either you put me in there and we liven that place up a little bit, shake him up a little bit, or this is what the people are saying. This is all drivers. We're 99.9% driver-centric channel. 1,500 votes in 4 days. Yeah, you're going to say, look, I have 1 million drivers. Maybe, it's more or less. Okay, great. If you think after a decade, 58% gave you 1 star, meaning extremely dissatisfied, and on average, you have 58 plus 14 is 60, 72 plus 17. You're literally 90% of all people are either extremely dissatisfied or dissatisfied. There is something wrong with what you're doing, Lyft. I would fix it ASAP. Chris, I don't think there is any other company that if they want to run an internal survey of their workers, because we're not employees, right? And I'm sure Walmart does this and airlines do it all the time, the satisfaction surveys, and Uber runs this too. We have one for Uber, by the way. If 158% of your drivers give you 1 star, you don't have much to brag and you have a lot to fix. Let's get the show on the road and let's fix, because there are certain things that are fixable, but you guys are ignoring us. You guys are not listening. You were on the show 3 months ago, Mr. Risher. Nothing has changed. You have 3 months. You promised me you're going to show up in 3 more months. Nothing has changed. So next poll was specific to Uber.
Hold on. DC Hustler, appreciate the super chat. Smart moving on the XL and doing the P's. That's always going to help.
There you go, DC Hustler.
Robin,
that's how you do
appreciate
it.
The super chat as well.
Robin, thank you. This is how you do it, DC. Well, we're going to.
And then here we go.
Here's the one for Uber. It got over 2,000 votes, expected because there are more Uber drivers. Same shit, Chris. Could the surveys be like more lined up as far as numbers are concerned?
Just about, yeah.
90% on this one, 89%, either 1 through 3 stars. There were only 11% 4 and 5 stars. Uber, I know you're watching too. What does this say? What does this say? This is our measly survey. What does this say? Now, what this says to me is that people are dissatisfied. Why are they dissatisfied? They're dissatisfied about pay, obviously. They're dissatisfied about, security and safety. They're dissatisfied about unjust deactivations. Well, to Uber's credit,
about the irregular bonuses.
They're trying to fix those 2 things, right?
The bonus cuts.
Yeah, well,
the lack of transparency, them not feeling part of the crowd, or making a good difference. There's a ton of reasons why.
I am telling you.
It's not that hard to fix the dissatisfaction problem and make it more satisfying. Because here's the thing, though. If you are more satisfied with something that you're doing and you're happier doing it, that's going to in turn make the if the driver themselves, if that was flip-flopped and 54% of people were saying number 5, meaning they're extremely satisfied, you're going to have happier drivers. They're going to be on the platform. They're probably going to be on the platform longer, not trying to gamify the system to keep them on as long as possible, but to actually they want to. Those drivers that want to be on the platform longer, drive more, they're going to be happier. In turn, the passenger is going to have a better experience all around. Isn't that what your goal always is, to have a good passenger experience? make the driver happy, you make the passenger happy, you're going to have a repeat customer from that person, because the person who is coming in seeing a good driver or happy driver, they're going to remember, oh, that was Uber or that was Lyft. And then they're going to go back to that platform. And if they continue getting good drivers because the drivers are actually satisfied, guess what? It's going to be a win-win for everybody.
You know what,
but
Chris?
No, you want to continue trying to game the system and screw drivers as much as you can, making them unhappy, in turn making passengers unhappy. You fight the passengers and the drivers with whatever bullshit you can, and you're making a negative ecosystem instead of a positive ecosystem. Try flipping the script a little bit, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Megan, thank you so much.
Thanks for the super chat stuff.
Here's the thing. Every time I drive, Chris, I'm talkative. Like, I have my RSG cards handy. I send it out, right?
Thanks.
I give it to them, to the passenger, right? And I start a conversation. It's a great icebreaker. I go like, I run this YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And then they go, oh yeah, let me see who you are, or whatever. Megan. People are fascinated with people that are on YouTube as if it's a big fucking deal. But let's say it is. And then I start a conversation. I go, what do you think I'm getting paid for this trip? And what do you think you're getting paid? You're paying, all this good stuff, right? First of all, 99% of them cannot believe what we're getting paid, right? So like a short trip for $3.50 while they're paying $9, But to them, it's convenient. They can afford it, do it. But you know what it is, though? I always ask them this question. When I'm on Lyft, I say, do you know who the CEO of Lyft is? To the passenger? They go, I have no idea. And then I do the same when I'm doing Uber. I go, do you know who the CEO of Uber is? I mean, it's a $125 billion company. I'm pretty sure some people would know. They have no idea, no clue. But do you know who they know? Mr. Risher and Mr. Khosrowshahi? They know me as the representative of Uber. And if I'm 90% dissatisfied, who do you think is going to give the next customer a good service? Me? I don't think so. I'm pissed off already. You put some shenanigans, shady shit on me that the next passenger is not going to get good service. And guess what's happening, Mr. Bishir and Mr. Khosrowshahi? The car quality is declining. Service quality is declining. Driver quality is declining. And at some point, the passenger is going to wake up. I go, holy shit. I was just picked up by this guy who was nasty to me. Why was he nasty to me? That's because he doesn't like what he's doing. That's exactly right here, right? So, these are all fixable things, right? Create a real drivers forum, create a head of real drivers liaison, not you're this Kool-Aid drinking Uber crew, blah, 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 whatever you guys have over there. And, let's talk. This is fixable. This is really fixable. So we're helping you guys out, actually. So next one, we're going to go through them real quick. These are all on our community page. It's free to vote. How many hours a week do you rideshare drive? This was like pretty much down the middle. It ranged from 0 to 15 hours to 50 plus hours. What surprised me was that how many people are driving 50 plus hours a week. Mm-hmm. And actually between 36 hours and 50 plus hours made up close to 50%, Chris. 50% of the crowd is basically doing this fucking full time. So when Uber says, oh, only 20% are doing it full time, no, sir, that's not what this is saying. Again, this is not scientific. You're going to go to, I know what you guys do. You're going to come out and say, oh, too little of a sample size. We got 3 million drivers. Well, run your own. Make it public. There you go. This is ours. Run your own. Let's see if it's any different. But I'm sure you guys will run it the way you guys would run it. We just left it open. And when 50% of the people are driving, full time, literally 40 to 50 plus hours a week, it's not because they're like swimming in cash and they're like, oh, I'm so happy driving for Uber and Lyft. It's so lucrative for me. No, it wasn't because of that. It's because of desperation. It's because of necessity. They need to put food on the table because inflation is absolutely hammering these people. So don't come out on your earnings report and say, more than ever, people are driving. Well, not because it's so lucrative. I mean, you guys watch some of my viral videos on the past weekend, 100,000 views. I got nothing but $3.50 for a 20-minute trip. And I can't make a living with that. Actually, I'm going to do a video on that, Chris. I'm going to do a $3.50 trip, then walk into a 7-Eleven, and then I can even buy a fucking pack of gum with that $3.50 that I spent 20 minutes doing on that trip. You know what I mean? So next question was.
Well, first, the one thing that I want to point is the people who are driving 50 plus hours, do they want to be driving 50 plus hours? Or is it that they have to? And that's the question. I think, hey, if you want to go out there or you want to hustle, because some people, I mean, some people enjoy
No,
it. Some people enjoy
it.
going out and doing it. And if you're working 50, 60 hours and you want to do that, hey, more power to you. Awesome. But for the people who have to go out there and work more, you know, that to me, I think is a big problem. Where you should be like, okay, you know, 40 hours is great. 40 hours is good. If I want to go out and work more, I can. And you can make that decision then. But you know, if you're forced to do that, that becomes you know, a real issue there. So that was the one thing I wanted to say.
People
Steve,
are just
thanks
driving,
for
bro.
the
People
chat.
are driving. You know, people are driving out of necessity. People are not driving because it's so lucrative, because the offers are not there anyway. The next one.
This one surprised the hell out of me.
This one blew my mind. I mean, I don't know how, like, there's 1,200 votes on this so far. Do you drive for both Uber and Lyft? I was thinking 90% would say yes. Now, it could be that we only got people who maybe were deactivated from one platform and are only doing on one. In this day and age, people, if you're not on both platforms, you are absolutely doing the wrong business. There is no loyalty in this business. Do not be loyal to any company. Do not be loyal to, you should have 6 apps. I have 8 on my phone now. I'm up to 8 now. I turn all of them on. Independent contractor, 10 minutes for Uber, 20 minutes for Doordash, 10 minutes for Lyft. That's how the game is now. You can't just do what you did 2015, that I used to be just on Uber only and make myself fucking $60 an hour and go home. Those days are dead. They're gone. But this surprised me, actually. Actually, I sent all of these to Uber and Lyft. And I got a response from Uber. Actually, they were surprised about this one, Chris, because they were thinking a lot of people would be like on both apps. And they go like 53%.
Same.
Like, yeah.
I know when I saw that, I'm like, what, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing out there? Or how come you're not on both? I mean, if it's slow on that platform, or, you know, if you get deactivated, what are you going to do? I mean, you got to jump ship. So there's no loyalty when it comes to it. And you can be on both platforms. If you don't know that, sign up for both platforms, do both platforms. You can turn them on at the same time, wait for requests, you know, all that good stuff. But you should be on both platforms, at least 2 of the platforms. If you have more in your particular area, sign up for all of them, because it's going to allow you to have more options and availability to get requests, which means when you have somebody in the car, that's when you're getting paid, not sitting there waiting for a ride to come in. So, I mean, I'd love to see that number go from 53 to like 75. Now, I get, if you are deactivated on one, if you had a bad experience on one, I understand that. That's why I said 75%, because, you know, things happen. But when it comes down to it, you should be on both platforms, at least Uber and Lyft. And then, like I say, if you have something more in your market, get on that. Try food delivery if that's something. Because if it's slow during those times and you're just sitting there not taking a ride, you're not making money. Open yourself up to more options, and that's going to help you get more money in your pocket then.
I agree. 100%. 100. The Bible is have as many as you can, because look, they can fire you overnight over nothing. I mean, right? You could get deactivated. Then what are you going to do? You're only doing Lyft, you get deactivated. Now what are you going to do? You're going to scramble to get on Uber? And I'm sure they have some sort of network shit that their systems talk to each other, and they will probably not put you on Uber. You need to be on like all these apps. And we're going to actually show you guys one app that's coming around. I mean, I would definitely do it. You know, I'm going to do it.
Val,
I actually
thank you.
It wasn't in LA. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you guys for all the super chats. So anyway, next one we put up. And there was one that dropped the hammer on these people. You know what I'm saying? And again, Chris, this surprised me a ton. Close to 2,000 votes on this. And either it's our crowd, right? Our crowd is all veteran, grinding, long-term timers, right? Because 54% of the voters said they've been on these platforms for 48 plus months, 4 years plus. I was going to say that the 0 to 6 months would be in the lead. I couldn't be more wrong, because there are all these newbies, supposedly, according to Uber. That Uber said 6.5 million people are driving versus 5 million, right?
Well,
I've been thinking, you know, like that would.
I know the reason why. I know the reason why. Because when you sign up, once you signed up for driving, when did you start looking at, you know, Uber forums? When did you start looking at channels? When did you start looking?
Before I even did my first trip.
Okay. So that's probably the 17% of people. The remainder are just going to sign up thinking, hey, I can make some money. Then they're realizing, oh, it's not as lucrative as I thought it might be because of the way their marketing is. And then they start searching out for things. So they'll find Facebook pages, they'll find, you know, the Uber forums, they'll find YouTube channels. and then they'll figure it out from there. So I'm curious if that's the reason why. I would probably put some money on that, saying people are just signing up to sign up and not using.
We're failing. We're failing. We're not getting to the newbies. And all the veterans who are here on the chat flying, I can't read the chat because I can't focus otherwise. All you veterans, you need to be out there teaching these newbies. And you don't have to tell us about us. We get enough action as it is. But you guys need to, in your communities, you guys need to teach these newbies before they burn out in 90 days to 180 days and quit doing what they're doing with 40,000 or 30,000 extra miles on their cars. I mean, we're not getting to these newbies, Chris. We need to do a better job getting to these newbies. That's what we need to do, because the veterans are already grizzly veteran. They already know what the heck they're doing. They don't need me, but the 0 to 6 month crowd, which is the second largest group, needs me. Meaning, forget decline garbage. Know your worth. I mean, we're not getting there, and we need to do a better job. But the community needs to also do a better job educating these newbies. So the next one, we get to is. This was an interesting one, and you know what? I'm telling you, bro, the numbers are so lined up. Like, I can't make this shit up. We put one for Uber and one for Lyft. This is the hottest topic on the planet at the moment. Okay, what do you think Uber's average take rate is on your last 500? Not 5, not 50, 500 trips, excluding tips, and that's the way we should look at it, Chris. Look at the numbers, bro. 88%. Think it's between 21 and 75%. Yep. 88%. So Uber, Lyft, you guys come with like, we think it's like 12%, 15%. We're happy with 20%, 10%. Look at your service fee on your, what do you call that? Weekly statements every Monday. I think you're doing a horrible job, Uber, because perception is, look at this perception you have. 88% think it's between 25 and 75% that you keep from the passenger fare. I don't think your Harvard MBAs over there are communicating properly with the driver community, because it's not flying. Look what they're saying. Look, this is what the crowd is saying. 62% said Chris, 51 to 75%.
And that's perception. That's perception. 26% are correct, according to Uber. They say what, 29% take rate?
No, Uber actually is in the 0 to 25% group.
Well, that's their take rate, but like they're when you actually break down the numbers, including all of the stuff, all of their expenses, they're saying it's like 29% or something like that. The reality is, I mean, when 62% of people are saying it's 50% to 75%, you got a little bit of a problem there. And when they're looking at the rides and they're seeing that the customer paid $14.62 and you're paying $7 or $5.48 or something like that, you have a real problem, because at that point the take rate is over 50%, and that's why 62% are saying that.
Yeah. So the communication is failing, Uber. And then we did one for Lyft. Uber was 62%, the 51 to 75% group. Lyft was 60%. I mean, I was like, I'm going to do these surveys like every 3 months, every quarter. Okay. And obviously we're going to keep these and we're going to build on this data. How happy, let's see if we have the satisfaction rate move up a little bit. Maybe the take rate will change the opinion, or it will get worse. I don't know. But this tells me, Uber, Lyft, this is what the community is saying. I honestly don't give a rat's ass about your DAC, which is, what is that called? Driver Advisory Council at Lyft, and Uber Crew. I didn't make it to either one. If you guys really want some change of this perception, you should put me in there. And I go, wake up, fools. Look what the community is saying, because you guys are living on some other la-la land. And it's not true. Like 60% on Uber, 62 on Uber, 60% on Lyft say your take rate is between 51 and 75%. Horrible job, Uber, Lyft. And the last one, which was, this one was, well, I figured this would be correct. I got this one right. I pretty much got all the other ones wrong. This one had like 13 plus 100 votes. Simple question, yes or no. Do you think upfront fare is another rate cut? Yes, 93% said yes, 7% said no. Well, I don't know. I think this speaks for itself.
Yep. And I think the other side of the coin is when you take your 2022 earnings and you compare them to 2023, How much difference are that? How many more rides did you have to get the same amount? How many or if you gave the same amount of rides, how much different is what you made? Those types of things are this number spitting out right at you directly. So those types of things, it's hard to take persuasion away or thought process away, because those are numbers staring you in the face, and it's only a couple of numbers that you have to look at to actually come to that conclusion. Did you make more or less per trip on average? All of that stuff. So yeah, I mean,
numbers could be pulled and pushed anyway, but this is like very conclusive. You have 1,300 votes or 13,000 votes, Chris, because the error, you know, the window of error, they go plus minus 3%, whatever, right? This is so one-sided that even with that window play, it's not going to change, right? And I urge all of you, I don't know, 400 or 500 of you here, okay? Tell your community. It's free, people. Don't get nervous. Go to the YouTube, you know, click on community. All the polls are there. Go vote. It's going to be there forever until we put up the next one 3 months from now at the end of March. Maybe we'll do it sooner. I don't know. But Uber, Lyft, you're doing a horrible job. You're failing, Uber. At F minus, communicating to drivers, F minus in upfront fares being revenue neutral, F minus in your take rate. I don't know what else to say. Look, I'm not bitching and moaning here. I'm trying to, honest to God, I'm trying to help you guys here without pay, okay, on the house. I mean, you can run your polls and send them to me. Let's see what your crowd, what your 2 million drivers are going to say. You know what I'm saying? Go for it. I would love to have those results.
Yeah, let's see the real. Let's see a 2 or 3 million driver sample size and see how much different the numbers actually are.
Great.
Yeah. I don't know. Z minus.
Z minus doesn't work.
Incomplete. I think the dreaded incomplete would be for this one, or redo assignment.
But incomplete means you get another chance. I think
well,
10 years.
I mean, I think another chance. I think at this point another chance needs to happen. I mean, that's the only way. As I said earlier, the only way you're going to change perception is by making changes that are going to be in drivers' favorites. And you make drivers happy, passengers are going to be happier. You know, you're going to have better all around everything. So, I mean, I don't understand, like, what idiot are you? These are the same idiots that are saying, like, going and watching Fox News and MSNBC and any of the news stations is great compared to, you know, listening to a podcast where you're actually sitting down. There's no format. You can talk, you can find the issues. And some schmuck at the news says, oh, no, we got to do a 30-second segment, so we can't talk it out. Well, guess what? Let's look at some of these podcasts. They're growing bigger than the news stations are substantially. They're getting millions of views. News is getting, maybe if they're lucky, 1 million views at any time frame. So come on, it's time to start looking outside the box. You guys were disruptors once before. Why don't we disrupt things now and actually make them better instead of worse?
Look, they can't.
I mean, it's not that hard.
They're good at you know, shoving stuff aside that they don't like, right? Like the Len Sherman article and this thing, right? They're going to say, oh, look, a couple thousand votes on each.
All right,
you're welcome to run yours any way you guys choose. You have the in-app power, right? You can drop that message in the app, do the exact same questions. Okay, let's see what you guys get. Let's see.
I mean, there's definitely easy solutions. Again, increase driver, you know, increase how the driver's getting paid. They're going to be a lot happier at that point. Just increase pay 30%. How much of the dissatisfaction would go away? Get rid of bonuses. Get rid of bonuses altogether, and just put money into the driver pay. I don't give a shit about driver bonus. Give me the pay for every ride. I don't want to play this game where I don't get a bonus on Monday to Thursday. Maybe I don't get one on the weekend. You know, it's so inconsistent already right now. Just increase the pay. Increase the pay. You're probably going to get a lot more people happy. You know, I keep seeing everybody talk about, oh, we need unions and that. Unions could work, but the problem is you have to do it in your area, because we've talked about Seattle, we've talked about Washington, we talked about their model, how they worked it. They were able to unionize by getting people going to the airports, getting people going to where drivers are. We can't do that. We have 170,000 subscribers. There's 3.5 million drivers. We just don't have the reach that's able to do that. No channel on YouTube, even if you combine it together, has that reach. The thing is, you have to actually go in, do the grassroots movement, go talk to drivers in the area, because there's a lot of you go to your airport right now and say, hey, have you heard of the RideShare Guy? You know what the RideShare Guy? I guarantee you, it's going to be a small portion of people actually know about it. Do you know about any YouTube channel that's an Uber or Lyft channel? Some people are, oh, I didn't even think about that. So the reality of the situation is, you want change, you have to get your ass out there and make the change. We'll help you any way we can. Trust me, we will help you any way we possibly can. You want to do it, you need to be the change.
Grassroots
campaign. We will help you. We will support you in any way we can. Just letting you know.
That's how they did it in Seattle. Grassroots campaign. You know, it all started somewhere.
And that's really what we want.
You know, that's the only way it's going to work. And lastly, about all these things, right? Uber, Lyft. Honestly, I don't want an email tomorrow saying, okay, listen, honestly, these are all fixable issues. If you guys are failing to communicate clearly with the driver community, look, you're going to say, okay, this is the clear, I know what I'm getting tomorrow or the next day. Serge, if this is all so bad, Chris and chat and 20,000 people watch later, please answer that in the comments. If you're not watching now, please leave a comment. Here's the deal. Serge, if this is all so bad, why are more than ever 6.5 million people on the Uber platform are driving? Why? Right? So they're going to say, your shit is all wrong. You have all the complainers on your channel, all the veterans who have all the scar tissue. We run our surveys. Our surveys are saying, we're so happy that we're driving in millions and millions and more numbers. So what do you say to that, Chris?
I'd say, I know they're going to say that. I'd be like, how skewed are your numbers? Because drivers are probably not willing to answer correctly, and they're going to probably put their answers skewed higher because they fear retribution, that if they actually rate it what they would think, that they're probably going to get in trouble by either being banned on the platform, or they're thinking that they're not going to get rides or be held accountable for their polls. So I'm going to say your results are probably skewed because of that particular fact.
Well, some of those people are saying good things, like, because we're our own boss. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, it's not all bad. It's just unfortunate that things get worse over time, and that's the problem. And I think that's what most drivers are very upset about. You know, as you know, we have higher inflation, higher cost of living, higher costs of maintenance, and all of these things, and then the driver pay gets squeezed, and all this games. Well, you know, go back to the basics, make it simple, make it easy the way it was, and increase pay a little bit. Probably be a lot easier.
You know, you guys know who you are. I asked this question like 10 days ago. I know it's holidays, you know, whatever. One of the bunch of the economists you guys have there, can you guys make a graph, a beautiful graph for me, showing driver earnings since 2017 adjusted to inflation, please? Thank you. Much appreciated. I'm asking you.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club, with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.